Hey, this is Matt from Tradesman Digital Marketing. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through click-through rate, what your click-through rate should be, what it is, and really why you should try to maximize your click-through rate. So first off, what is a click-through rate inside Google Ads? And I found this awesome article on wordstream.com. They're absolutely fantastic. You should check them out. Essentially, what a click-through rate is the total amount of times someone saw your ad versus the total amount of times people actually clicked on your ad. So if someone sees your ad or people see your ad 100 times and they only click on it 10 times, you have a 10% click-through rate. So depending on what industry you're in, 10% may be good, may be bad. It really is unique to your situation. But that's click-through rate in a nutshell. Why does click-through rate matter? Well, there's a very high relation between click-through rate and quality score. And essentially, the higher the quality score you have, the more Google favors your ad. The higher your ad rank goes, the lower you have to pay per click. It essentially favors you quite significantly, and you can generally produce a lot more leads with a higher quality score. So it's very, very powerful and very crucial for success in your account. So we have a nice little graph here that is the relationship between quality score and click-through rate. I pulled it up here, and essentially, as we can see at the bottom here, a 0% click-through rate. There's a lot of people with a 1 quality score, which is not good. Essentially, a 1, you're paying extra for every single click because Google doesn't like your ad and the experience for the customer is bad. A 5 is generally 50-50. Google's not going to charge you for it, but they're not going to give you any leeway. And a 10, Google's generally giving you a lot of leeway. They're showing your ad first generally. They're making sure you're not having to overpay. It's a really good place to be, and that's where everyone should try and aim for. But as we see here, we can see a relationship between as we grow in the click-through rate, as we get to 5%, a lot more quality scores tend to go up. We still have a few down at like 2 and 3, but as we go further and further over to 10, 15, 20, 25% all the way to 30%, you can see quality scores go up. And there's a really good, strong correlationship between quality score and click-through rate. So that's generally why we want to have a higher click-through rate versus a lower click-through rate. So that's the goal. Aim for a high click-through rate. Now, what is a good click-through rate? And that is really dependent on your industry. And it really depends too on what campaign you're running, what types of ads you're running. I'm going to be speaking about search. They have the diagram for display down here as well. And as you can see, the average click-through rate in AdWords across all industries. AdWords is also known as Google. It's now moved to Google Ads, so they used to refer to it as AdWords if you're unfamiliar with that. But the overall click-through rate for search networks, so this is the ads you see at the very top of the screen, that your first 3 or 4 ads, those are search network. Those are your typical search ads. A display network ad is like one here you see on the side. I don't even know if this is a display ad, but that's essentially what a display ad looks like. And it's a little banner ad that has a product or a service or whatever it's selling. And as we can see here, it has a 1.91% average across all industries. And generally, what I like to recommend is aiming for anywhere between 5 and 10%, which is generally a good ballpark. Now, it does depend on what industry you're in. Some industries, it's a lot more difficult to get a high click-through rate, and you might be doing absolutely fantastic at 3%. I'm not exactly sure. And as we can pull up the actual benchmark here, it really depends. As you can see in the legal industry, it's a lot lower click-through rate. This is generally due to the legal aspect of Google Ads being very, very competitive, very high cost per clicks. It's not a fun place to be, and it's very competitive, and it's probably one of the reasons why the click-through rate is so low. But other industries, it's not as difficult. And you can generally get a higher click-through rate. So my recommendation is you really want to be above 3%. I recommend anywhere from 5 to 10%. If you can get over 10%, that's fantastic. Always try to implement, always try to get a better click-through rate. And depending on, again, what ads you're running. Now, as you can see here, WordStream generally recommends anywhere from 4 to 5% on search networks. I think that's a little low for most industries. I would like to see it a bit higher, especially for service-based businesses. Most of the time, we can get them anywhere from 5 to 10% rather easily. That's just, again, being able to A/B test ads and making sure you're doing the things necessary to increase your click-through rate. Some of the things include, A/B testing your ads consistently, making sure you're changing headlines, descriptions, making sure you're betting on good keywords, making sure your account is structured properly and themed properly so the actual keyword is relevant to the ad copy. All these things affect click-through rates. and it's all tied in together. So if you have a really messy account, generally your click-through rate's not going to be good. But if you have it themed tightly and everything is really matching, if someone types in for a keyword in for pool installation and the ad pops up looking for pool installation, we have you get a quote now. Uh, we have pool contractors at the ready, whatever it is, as long as it's relevant and it really answers the customer's problem, chances are you're going to have a decent click-through rate. But again, it needs to be all tied in together, and you really need a cohesive campaign. It needs to be themed tightly. So that's essentially click-through rates. Again, take it with a grain of salt. Every industry is different. I recommend anywhere from 5 to 10% for Google search ads. Again, that's what we specialize in. I know them very well, and that's very achievable for most industries. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns about click-through rates, please leave them down in the comment section down below. I'd be happy to answer them. Other than that, you guys have a wonderful day and take care.